I like playing a lot of video games, and if there's one video game type that I have been a massive fan of for as long as I can remember playing video games, it's a little genre called JRPGs. You got your Final Fantasies, your Dragon Quests, those are all games that I think everybody knows and everybody loves in the world of JRPGs, but obviously there is a lot of JRPGs out there that don't really get talked about all that much, and, I can't really blame people for that because in the grander scale of the world of JRPGs, there is certainly a lot more misses than there are hits. But recently, I've been playing this brand new JRPG. I don't even know if I can even call it a JRPG. It is a game that I have been sinking so much time into, and I only recently just finished after about 70-80 hours of gameplay, and I've noticed that not many people are playing it around me, and not many people are talking about it. So I thought, screw it, I'll make a video on it because this is the Joe Bissinger channel and I can talk about whatever the hell I want. And hopefully this will be a recommendation that by the end of this video, I can convince you JRPG lovers, or even non-JRPG lovers, enough to give it a go yourself, because it really was a unique experience, but also just a really, really fun gaming experience. Like, I haven't had this much fun with a game in quite a while. And the game is called Unicorn Overlord. It's basically a tactical JRPG. It's kind of similar in the vein of Fire Emblem that was developed by the guys over at Vanillaware, who are kind of a smaller but very well-respected Japanese game development company that have made some of my recent favorite video games ever played. 13 Sentinels was the one that I got recommended to by my friend Gaunt, and that game was absolutely fucking nuts. And I'm kind of sad I didn't get to talk about 13 Sentinels at the time that I finished it, but trust me, that is one of the most mind-blowing stories in a video game you will ever experience. So after dropping that amazing banger of a game, Vanillaware decided to cook up and create Unicorn Overlord in conjunction with the publishers Sega and Atlus. And you guys know me from the history of my channel, I'm a massive Atlus boy. I got to play Persona 3 Reload before anybody else in the world, and that was absolutely amazing. So it was essentially a match made in heaven. When I heard about a game that was developed by Vanillaware and published by Atlus, I thought this game was basically made for me. On top of that, it's a JRPG that has tactical elements like Fire Emblem, another game series that I'm absolutely obsessed with. Dog, I think the gods heard my cries for the perfect game, and from the heavens descended Unicorn Overlord. But what is Unicorn Overlord, you might be asking? It is kind of similar to Fire Emblem in the sense that there is a lot of tactical elements involved in the JRPG process. The story itself is honestly not that unique, if I'm being honest. It's set in a fictional world where a bunch of kingdoms rule over the land until one very evil gentleman decides, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna take over the entire world and just wreak havoc for the rest of everyone's lives. Kind of really going in the whole Kefka mode, except, not becoming a god necessarily. Our story follows the main character Elaine, who is actually the prince of one of these fallen kingdoms, who gets banished to an island as a result of his mother, the queen of the kingdom, getting killed supposedly in the fight against this evil guy who's trying to take over the entire thing, and decides, hey, you know what, I'm done with all of this bullshit dictatorship. I'm going to go out there and try to reclaim the land and give the peace and freedom back to this land that he loves so much. You start off with kind of a small team as you start to adventure through and take out each occupied place one by one, and gathering your party slowly over time. And this is where several layers of beauty to this very tactical JRPG come into play. For one, like a lot of the especially recent Fire Emblem games, if you played any of those, you can play as a shitload of characters. Like, I don't even know if I actually managed to unlock every single character in my playthrough, but I, for one, personally, in my playthrough, unlocked probably close to about 50 different playable characters, each with their unique stats and classes and weapons and all that kind of stuff. And over time, as you start to liberate each place one by one and slowly regaining control of the land, you gain access to more perks, more classes, more available units that you can throw out onto the field during your fighting sequences. And this is where I think the beauty of Unicorn Overlord really starts to come into play. It's this combination of the sheer amount of characters that not only you can collect, but also play in a single stage. And it's also all about the perfect combination. It's not just a matter of, I'm going to take my strongest character of the strongest class and just throw them out into the battlefield and see what happens. Obviously, people who have played tactical JRPGs like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics and stuff like that will know that, especially in the later stages, it is really not that simple. You really need to start strategizing, and Unicorn Overlord makes you strategize to a degree that I honestly have never done ever in a tactical JRPG. Unlike Fire Emblem, where most of the time it is a one-on-one battle with an enemy. You move one single character to another single enemy and hope that you outstat them, outspeed them, your weapons are strong enough, the combination of weapon strengths and weaknesses are the perfect match for you to get your victory. Well, imagine that, but in Unicorn Overlord, it's that multiplied by about 3 or 5 all at the same time. You not only have to make sure that you are pairing up different units with other units that will accompany each unit, but you also have to make sure that that particular unit that you create goes up against a combination of enemy units that you know you will be able to outwit. And this doesn't just come to the combination of character classes or levels or weapons or armor or items or anything like that. No, because each character also gains the ability to use special moves that get activated at certain times. And if that wasn't already insane and complicated enough, you can actually go in and customize how each of these special moves of each character are activated when they hit certain criteria on the battlefield. You can make it so that, for example, an archer class will activate a certain skill that will, maybe raise the defense of your characters after, say, half of their health has gone down, or when they're facing a particular type of enemy. You have to really strategize in that sense of making sure that the combination and the criteria of combinations that will get your character to do the most amount of damage or act in the most efficient way in your party matches up with not only the stats of your own character and each of your other characters in your party, but also to combat the potential enemy that you're about to face. And of course, on top of all of that, you have other such perks on the battlefield, such as certain abilities that you can do while on the battlefield before you engage in a battle that can either debuff the enemy, buff the enemy, and all of this as well is done in real time. I haven't mentioned that, but unlike Fire Emblem, where there is a player phase and an enemy phase, in Unicorn Overlord, it's all happening at the same time. As you are moving certain units to certain other places and against certain enemies, your other units are also doing the same thing at the same time. It's really difficult to explain just how really intense and very meticulous this tactical game is. And of course, let's not forget Vanillaware's incredible sense of art direction as well. I mean, my God, not only do you get access to some of the coolest, cutest, sexiest, dopest character designs that you have ever seen ever, but I think Vanillaware also realized that anybody can find their waifu or husbando just from the sheer variety of characters in this game. You obviously have your human characters, pretty boys, pretty girls, but you also have other races. You have elves, you've got your muscle mummies, you've got your furries, you've got your angels. Vanillaware is literally checking off the box of every single fetish and tag that you can find in any kind of Rule 34 website. But it's not just the way that the characters look as well, it's the sheer variety of personalities that are within all of the characters too. I mean, honestly, some of my favorite characters out there, I didn't even really fall in love with because of their looks or anything like that. It's more so just their personality that shines through, because of course, like any kind of good tactical JRPG or any kind of Fire Emblem game, you can also unlock story segments and backgrounds of each of the characters. And Vanillaware in the past has been pretty good at this whole segment, or at least being known to do this whole segment. I mean, 13 Sentinels has an entire section of the game where it's literally just an encyclopedia of all the people and the shit that's happening in the game. So as you're playing through and trying to liberate each of these points, you're also trying to follow each of the backstories of the 50-something characters that exist in the game as well. There's honestly so much packed into what is, you know, essentially a pretty simple tactical JRPG, but the details, the finer details in this game is what makes for, I guess, just some of the most intricate experiences that I've ever had in a JRPG, or a tactical JRPG, should I say. I feel that if you're, again, already a fan of Fire Emblem and you want something that is similar to the feeling of playing Fire Emblem for the first time, then I think Unicorn Overlord is the game to play. And I'm sure the people who are watching this video right now who have already played Unicorn Overlord know exactly how I feel about that and have probably already played all the Fire Emblem games, because let's be real, it's honestly aimed at gamers like us, and there are not that many of us in the world, let me just say that. But if you've never played any kind of tactical JRPG, if you've never even played any kind of JRPG, and you want to like dive into something that is quite unique and different in terms of not just gameplay, but also just the feeling you get of accomplishing certain levels and gaining stats and really creating tactics of just how to defeat even a single enemy, I think Unicorn Overlord is honestly the best game to play, and that's why I wanted to make a whole video on it, because there's not enough people online who are making videos on this game, and I want more people to play it. So there you go, that was my whole spiel on Unicorn Overlord. Let me know if you're interested in giving it a go. If you've played the game, then let me know what you thought about the game. I'm really interested to know. And yeah, if you guys like me talking about games and stuff like that, then I might do more videos like this in the future of games that I am playing. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smack my face right here, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep making big channel number go bigger over here next to my head. A couple more videos you can check out if you enjoyed this one, links to my social media, as well as my Patreon to support me directly, and Nonsense, my clothing brand. Check it out at nonsense.jp. Link is in the description, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.